the technical glitch. So we were discussing about functional foremanship. According to Taylor, the separation of planning and execution functions should be made. For example, if there is one planning in charge, according to him, there must be different foremans, and if there is one production in charge, different foremen should be working under him. Taylor proposed for 8 specialist foremen, 4 under each department, planning department and production department. According to Taylor, there must be 8 specialist foremen. Now, who are they and what is their work? Let us see. If there is one factory manager, and under him, one is planning in charge and one is production in charge. So, under planning in charge, there must be 4 foremen, and also under production in charge, there must be 4 foremen. And under this foreman, there will be workers. These foremen are doing the work of supervision. Supervisory activities are to be done by this foreman. So there are 8 foremen, 4 under each planning in charge and production in charge. Under planning in charge, we have instruction card clerk, route clerk, time and cost clerk, and disciplinarian clerk. Under production in charge, we have speed boss, gang boss, repairs boss, and inspectors. Now let us see what are the role of different foremen under planning in charge. Under planning in charge, we have instruction card clerk, drafting instructions for the workers. The instruction card clerk will draft the instructions for the workers, that what is the work to be done. This type of instructions should be drafted by the instruction card clerk. Next we have route clerk, specifying the route of production, how production activity will take place, what will be our process, how we will use the raw materials, what materials will be used. This type of route of the production will be decided by the route clerk. Next is time and cost clerk, preparing time and cost sheet. What will be the time taken, or what is the standard time taken in producing these goods, and what can be the standard cost in producing these goods. Such things will be prepared by time and cost clerk. And at last we have disciplinarian in charge. It must be the duty of the disciplinarian to ensure discipline in the organization and in the production and planning department. Next is role of foreman under production in charge. Under production in charge also we have seen 4 foremen were there. Let us check what is the role of this foreman. Number 1, speed boss, timely and accurate completion of the job. The speed boss will check that the work is completed timely and accurately as per was the instruction by the instruction clerk. Will see whether the work is done in the correct manner, in the correct time or not by the speed boss. Gang boss will keep the machines, tools and etc. ready for operation by the workers. The gang boss duty is to make available the machines and tools whatever will be needed in the production process. Repairs boss will ensure that the proper working condition of the machines and tools. The machines and tools are whether in the perfect working condition or not. Their maintenance will be done by the repairs boss. And inspectors will be checking the quality of the work. What is the quality of the work done by the workers, whether the materials that are produced are of the required quality or not. This type of things will be checked by the inspectors. So this was technique number 1 of scientific management, functional foremanship. Functional foremanship was the first technique of scientific management that Taylor suggested that we can use to implement scientific management in our organization. Now let us check what is number 2. Number 2, standardization and simplification of work. Taylor suggested that work must be standardized and simplified. Standardization of work refers to the process of setting standards for every business activity. For every activity, we must set standards that this work should be done according to this, and these things must be achieved there. And simplification of work aims at eliminating unnecessary diversity of products. If the same tools are to be used in 2 different departments, then it will be a great chaos. Like if one department is using that machine or that tool and the other department also needs that tool, so that the other department will keep on disturbing the first department to provide that tool as they need that tool. So in this case, this is unnecessary diversity of product or the materials. So instead of that, we can have different tools for different organizations, different departments, or we may have the time duration. For example, for this to this time, this department will be using this machine, and for this to this time, this department will be using this machine. So this is called simplification of work. And standardization means we must set standards for every activity. For example, for producing 100 units of goods, this is the time required, or this is the standard time to be taken. There must not be more deviation than the standard time. A small deviation that is reasonable can be accepted, but if there is more deviation, correct and reasonable rectification steps must be taken. This is called standardization and simplification of work. Next is work study. We should always have a systematic and objective critical examination of all the facts relating to work to maximize efficiency. Efficiency must be maximized in the working technique. There should be a systematic, objective, and critical examination of all the factors relating to work to maximize the efficiency. Efficiency must be maximized. If the workers work for 6 hours and produce 100 units each worker, then we must try to ensure that we can produce more. If we can get 120 units from each worker within the stipulated time of 6 hours, this will be our great achievement and great success for the organization. So this can be done with proper work study. And what are the methods of work study? Let us see. Number 1, method study. Method study refers to finding out the best possible way of doing a particular job. There are various methods for completing any job. Its main objective is to minimize the cost of production and maximize the quality and satisfaction of the customer. Taylor used this technique in diversity of concept of assembly line. While assembling the product, we can use the best method out there. We should check what is the best method for assembling the product, which may save our time and improve the quality. Next is motion study. We should properly examine that while working, what are the wasteful motions, the unnecessary motions that the workers need to do. For example, if a worker needs tools again and again from the tool department or from the toolbox, and the toolbox is kept somewhere a bit far from the worker's working area, in that case the worker needs to move from the working area to the tool department again and again to get the tools. Now, if the tool department can be made near to the working area of the employees, then they will need to make less conveyance from their working area to the tool department. In this case, we can reduce the wasteful motions or the movements of the employees. This movement can be avoided, and this will result in more efficiency and more efficient performance of the employees. Next is time study. Time study determines the standard time taken to perform a well-defined job. Whatever job is given to the employees, whatever work is given to the workers, it must be divided into various different small parts of work, and each part of work must be studied carefully, and the time taken by various workers must be observed, that what is the standard, and we can set a standard out of there that this work should be completed between this much time. In such amount of time the work must be completed. We can measure all the work done by the employees and the time taken by them by using stopwatch or some other machines. Now, after we record and set the standards for working for the employees, we must check for the deviations, if the workers are getting up to the standard level or not. If there are more deviations, we should take the corrective steps and the rectification steps to rectify the reasons. We should cover up the reasons for the deviations. This is time study. And the next one is fatigue study. A simple thing is, any person cannot work with full capacity for a long period of time. If a worker is to be working for 6 hours continuously, his efficiency in all of those 6 hours cannot be same. When he starts work, he will be with more energy and he will be working with more capacity. As he keeps on working for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, his capacity of working and the energy will go down, and he is in requirement of a break. If such break is provided to him for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, he might regain his energy and he might do the work with more effectiveness and efficiency. In this area, Taylor suggested that proper amount of breaks must be provided to the employees to attain their energy and their enthusiasm in work. If there are two different shifts of work, three different